What if making a movie could become a spiritual battle? What if telling the story of Christ's resurrection came with a warning that few people expected? And what did Mel Gibson say that left even his longtime writing partner thinking deeply about faith? A surprising conversation has now revealed what happened behind the scenes of one of the most anticipated Christian films ever made. Randall Wallace, the screenwriter behind Braveheart, We Were Soldiers, and Hacksaw Ridge, recently shared how work on the resurrection of the Christ first began. Many people assumed Mel Gibson started the project, but that was not the case. Randall Wallace explained that the idea actually came from him. Mel Gibson had already spent years reflecting on Christ's resurrection. After The Passion of the Christ was released in 2004, many viewers wanted to see more. That request inspired Gibson to add a short closing scene showing Jesus rising from the tomb and revealing the wounds in his hands. Years later, during the promotional tour for Hacksaw Ridge in 2016, Wallace approached Gibson with a simple idea. Wallace had spent years studying the resurrection. Then came a direct challenge. The story you really need to tell is the resurrection. Mel Gibson paused for a long moment. Then came an answer Wallace described as deeply moving. Gibson said that if this film was ever made, it could not be about money. It could not be about proving critics wrong. It could not be about responding to people who had attacked or misunderstood them. Everything had to be done for God's glory. Wallace immediately agreed. But Gibson had one more message, one that surprised him. Gibson looked at Wallace and said, "Satan is going to come after you." Wallace, who is Baptist, answered with a little humor. He joked that Satan probably cared more about Catholics than Baptists. Later, Wallace admitted that the comment was simply a joke. At the same time, the conversation became much more serious. Both men began discussing God's grace. They also talked about differences between Catholic teaching on the sacraments and the Protestant understanding of grace. That conversation became the foundation of their partnership. From there, the writing process officially began. Wallace would write a draft. Gibson would review it. Then both would revise it together. Sometimes they worked side by side. Sometimes they worked separately. According to Gibson, that process continued for about 8 years. The finished project eventually became 2 films. The Resurrection of the Christ. Part 1 will star Jaakko Ohtonen as Jesus. The first film is scheduled to be released on May 6, 2027, which falls on Ascension Thursday. Part 2 is planned for May 25, 2028, also on Ascension Thursday. Gibson recently announced that production has been completed. According to Gibson, the final result matches the vision carried for more than 20 years. Gibson also described the project as a mission to tell what is believed to be the most important story in human history. Wallace also praised Gibson's unique understanding of the spiritual world. According to Wallace, audiences will see elements never shown before in a film about Christ's resurrection. At the same time, Wallace said the story remains faithful to historic Christian belief while preserving the mystery and wonder surrounding the resurrection. Interest in the project continues to grow. The Passion of the Christ earned more than $612 million worldwide after being produced with a budget of about $30 million. Despite public criticism from some groups and discussion surrounding its graphic scenes, the film became one of the most successful faith-based movies ever released. Fans will also have another opportunity to revisit that story. A newly remastered 4K edition of The Passion of the Christ will return to theaters from September 10th through September 17th. The theatrical release will also include an exclusive first look at the resurrection of the Christ, giving audiences an early glimpse of the long-awaited sequel before its official release.